I'm Spencer,
and this video gets a 3 out of 10.
and this is The Itch. And we'll start this a little differently than we usually do.
Yes.
When we first started talking about us doing reviews and talking about video games and stuff like
Out
that,
in public.
yeah, we talked about it and we decided that we weren't going to actually score the games.
Yes.
And ever since we've been doing this, and there's reasons which we'll get into, but as we've been doing this, we've been showing off our reviews. Everybody's asking, why don't you score the game?
Yeah. I got stopped in Fry's.
Really?
And Kinko's,
Oh
which
my
still
goodness.
exists. And two different guys. One guy, Fred. The other guy, Jerry.
I love that you remember their names.
Yes. Hey, they were nice people.
Right.
They were both in their hundreds.
And what did they ask you?
They pretty much go, hey there, youngster.
Our older.
They paused a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it was unfortunate. But why don't you score your games? And then Deckard Cain came in.
Deckard Cain.
I identify with that question. And I was like, wow, nice.
And I
Name
think,
drop.
well, I think that's a good question, though. Why don't we score our games? Why don't we say Bloodborne was 10 out of 10, or Citizens of Earth was a 0 out of 10 because it was a piece of shit game, and I hate everybody that made it.
Well, I think the primary reason is it's something that I guess all gamers are born into, but they never really, or maybe they did think about it, but didn't really care at the end of the day because so much of the industry does it.
Mhm.
Famitsu likes to do 4 different reviewers, and they review it out of 40, right? Which is interesting. Some other people just do, out of 5. Some guys might do out of 10 using decimals. Rounded to the
That was the
1000th place.
funniest one. That kind of sparked our conversation about it. I saw a review of a game. They went through a whole discussion about it, gave the pros, they gave the cons. They're like, I'm going to give this game an 8.7. And I'm like, where do you get, what math did you do to calculate 8.7?
How did you calculate this?
I'm always expecting the numbers like pi. Like, eventually it's just going to be a rating like 3.145 or whatever pi is, just stretched across the screen.
And that's kind of the interesting thing that, obviously we can laugh at it, but in all seriousness, where does it come from? And that's something that we never wanted to do. We look at, like, Game Informer, and we look at, what's another one? GameSpot, IGN. They like to give, like, 7, which means it's okay. Why don't you just say okay?
Yeah.
It makes more sense to say it that way. And the reason why we don't do it is because it is placing something subjective, or something definite on something subjective.
Right.
It's a 7 out of 10 game. According to you, how we like to do it is we focus primarily on being like, hey, you'll like this game or you should get this game because it makes more sense that way. It comes off as not like we're trying to force an opinion on you, but we're trying to get you to think. At the end of the day, we want you to make the decisions on what games you want to get. But if we can help point you in the right direction and be like, oh, hey, if you like arcade-style beat-em-ups, you're going to like this game. And if you're thinking to yourself, I like arcade-style beat-em-ups, I'm going to get Final Fight 8, right?
The kids are clamoring for it.
Exactly. And that's...
And I also see it as something where we've taken these objects and we consider them art. I don't think there's any denying that as a collective we consider this sort of thing art.
Yes.
And so I look at art and I say, how can you put a number value on it? I mean,
Exactly.
we can put a price on it, and that's per person.
Mm-hmm.
But when we say, Michelangelo didn't create his, David thing, and didn't create
David thing.
Didn't create all that, and then they're like, wow, 9 out of 10, dude.
Right.
9 out of 10.
No.
And then he creates another one. He's like, not as good as your last one. I'm gonna give it a 7.
7.5?
I think you can really try a little harder.
You know what? 7.67.
Yeah. So it's something that I don't see how you can really put a numeric value. I also have another problem with people that put
What's that, Spence?
scores on it. One of my big problems is I don't think people even use the rating system correctly, which is really odd to me. Flip through a Game Informer, or flip through another terrible magazine that you might have around.
Cesspool of
Yeah.
fucking garbage. Anyway,
So flip through these, or even look at IGN, and look at the reviews.
try to hold your appetite.
All of the reviews are between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
It's like if the lowest...
No, I'm sorry. Except if it's God Hand. I have a long-standing hate for them. Fuck you guys.
Well, I mean,
God Hand was a great game. You should
Yeah.
play past the first level.
trash is trash. You just got swiped aside. but if all of your scores are between 5 and 10, then what's the lowest score you can get?
At the end of the day,
Is the lowest score 0 or is it 5?
That's
Somebody tell me,
a
because the
1 out of
the lowest score I ever see is 5.
Yeah.
So if your average game is actually like an 8, then shouldn't that be 5?
Or
Do I just not?
or your 3, or
Yeah.
your 4, or any one of those numbers if it's a mildly good game. Yeah.
Right.
no,
So
you're
what means bad game? Because every game that apparently sucks is like a 6. They're like, I love it. I'll read a review and it'll be like, the graphics were freaking lackluster, the story was crap, the gameplay was sluggish, didn't hit 30 frames or whatever, didn't do any of this right, and then it asks them for a score and they're like, 7.5 out of 10. And
Yeah, you're just like,
it's like what?
because
What is
at
that?
the end of the day, that's mixed signals.
Mhm.
Okay, like a dude in a club just trying to meet a girl.
Yeah.
That is mixed signals. And honestly speaking, it's not fair to the consumer, because if they're trying to make an educated guess on a purchase or whatever the case is, that's all it really is at the end of the day. It's more of a guess than anything. Am I going to like this game because it's 7.5? Maybe. You know, I can honestly say I played through Dragon Age, loved the game. It's not a 9, but that's what it got. Bloodborne, I think I saw some 10s. 9. It's a pretty good game. It's a very good game, but it's not perfect. And that's the thing. Like certain games, like they like to do. I've seen 9.25. I think Game Informer does. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm just like, you're fucking kidding me. You know, like, because it's bullshit at that point. You're just like, why do you even do that? It makes more sense to just have whole numbers, in my opinion.
Right.
Let's use integers, okay? Decimals aren't integers, BT dubs. Let's use those. Let's use all real numbers and integers.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, me personally, I don't give a fuck about someone else's review. All I care about when I
We hope you care about ours.
we
but-
care about, well, okay, when it comes to score.
Score.
When it comes to score, if someone rates a game a 7 or a 6, I don't give a fuck. What I do is I look at it and I go, hey, what did I like on their review? What did they talk about that entices me? And when we're doing our show, that's what we pull from. We go, hey, what is someone really going to like about this game? You know, what's someone going to like about Bloodborne? Hey, if you're a masochist, you're going to love the game. You know, if you're harking back to the olden days, you know, of gaming. Or the YMCA. But if you harken back to those days and you like long for a really solid game that you can sit down and literally have Saturday morning gaming time with, bam, you want to play that game. And that's why we do it. And that's why I told Deckard Cain, you can stick it up his ass.
I think, and that's like
He's a great
generally
man.
at the end of our reviews, and this is to wrap it up a little bit, but at the end of our reviews, we offer you how much we think you should spend on it.
Exactly.
So this game came out for $60. Is it worth the $60? Usually not.
Yeah.
Usually not.
Usually not. Some games,
Is it worth 40? Yeah, maybe. Is it worth 20? Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Is it worth nothing? If it's Citizens of Earth, yeah, it's worth nothing. It's worth jack shit.
Not the dirt. Garbage.
So
Grind
that's
your
kinda,
feet in glass.
that's kind of what I think people need to know. They don't need to know a score or
Yeah,
anything like that.
because it doesn't help you. What's the difference? You buy 7s and I don't? What the fuck? You
Right.
create more problems than you solve by doing that.
Right.
You know?
So that's generally our opinion. If you do score games, if you're a reviewer and you score games, great for you. If that's a system that makes sense to you,
Yeah, just consider the alternative.
right.
It's definitely something to think about.
Absolutely. I'm Spencer.
And I'm JD.
And this is The Itch. Make sure to like,
Like!
comment,
Comment!
subscribe.
Subscribe!
We do videos.
Every week!
Make sure to check us out. And this is The Itch on.
Twitch!
Thanks for watching.
What?